Hello everyone and welcome back to LewisNews, your #1 YouTube channel for all types of Spider-Man news. And in today's video we are going to be talking about Mary Jane Watson and the new Marvel comic book Mary Jane and Black Cat, where MJ has powers and how this could affect the Sonyverse and how Sony might end up making this a movie. But before we get to that, if you are new around here and enjoy all types of Spider-Man content, from news, from the games and movies and the shows, make sure you subscribe, because 2023 is going to be a massive year for Spider-Man. With that being said, let's get straight into this. So I don't know if you can tell by my tonality at the start of the video, but I really do not like this idea, and I will explain why. Not only is this a bad idea for the comics, and not only does it ruin her character, but also this is very, very bad when it comes to the movies. So first of all, let's start with the comic books. Let's start with the context. How did Mary Jane get these powers? And what are the powers? Well, the powers essentially is that whenever she activates them, she gets a different power each time. I'll just give you two examples here. In the first issue, there is a panel where Mary Jane is using her powers to defend her new family from the Spider-Man comics. Now, if you guys don't know who her new family is, I don't have time to explain them on here in this video. Just go watch another video, because I'm sure there's millions of videos explaining this. I don't really like this idea, and I'm sure there's many other people that don't, but like I said, that's a topic for another day. Anyway, that aside, she's defending her new family with her powers, and essentially her powers can be unlocked when she activates them. But the way they work is that she actually gets a brand new power every time she does this, and it's like a slot machine. And she reveals to Black Cat that she actually wears this wristwatch, which basically works like a slot machine, and essentially she gets a new power every single time. So in some sort of weird way, it kind of works like an Omnitrix from the Ben 10 universe, where you get a brand new superpower every time you activate it. And I won't lie, I actually quite like this concept for a hero in the Marvel universe, just not for Mary Jane, and I'll explain why. Mary Jane Watson does not need superpowers. Her character was fine as she was. She was a very strong character up to this point as it was. She had a very strong backstory. She had flaws, she had motif, she had reason. Her character made sense, and she was a very, very good character. In fact, from the earlier Spider-Man comic books, when it comes to being a well-written character, Mary Jane absolutely destroys other side characters from the Spider-Man mythos when it comes to being a well-written character, including Gwen Stacy. She was one of the best written Spider-Man characters from the original comic book, and I just feel as if giving her superpowers takes away from that whole backstory. It kind of overshadows it, and I don't really like that. If Mary Jane was a superhero to begin with, in some essence like Black Cat was, then I guess it would be fine, right? But because she isn't, she doesn't need to be now. She's a good character without superpowers, and I don't feel as if every character in the Marvel Universe at some point has to have superpowers. Like, why? And yes, before anyone mentions, yes, I know Mary Jane is in fact Spinneret in an alternate universe where she does have spider powers. But that's okay, because that's an alternate universe exploring sort of a what-if scenario. This is the main 616 continuity, the main line of Marvel comic books. This is the Mary Jane Watson from all the way back in the 60s. This is the Mary Jane Watson that got married to Peter Parker, even though technically that has been undone and decanonized now, but we won't get into that. But nonetheless, this is the same Mary Jane Watson we've been following for all of these years. She does not need superpowers. But anyway, with that rant over, let's get on to why this is a horrible idea and why Sony might in fact make a movie about this. The Marvel editor-in-chief actually made a very good point, stating that the comics are around 10 years ahead of the films. And essentially what this means is that when a character is created in the comic books, or when a character is given a certain trait in the comic books, it usually takes around 10 years for that to be then translated into a film in some sort of way. An example that we can look at here is that Miles Morales debuted in the early 2010s, and then he got his first on-screen appearance in 2018 in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So that's roughly like in that 5 to 10 year range. The same thing actually happened with Miss Marvel as well, who was created in 2012 and then obviously got her first show in 2022, which is exactly 10 years. So in 10 years time, we could potentially be getting a Mary Jane Watson movie where she has superpowers. Now obviously the character will have evolved from then, and hopefully we'll have some stories that maybe explain where she got her powers from. And who knows, at that point maybe it isn't so bad, but at this current state, I really would not like this to happen. And the thing is, Sony Pictures have greenlit a hypno-hustler movie, a basically Z-list Spider-Man villain, and that no one has ever heard of, but they're making a movie about him. So, it's not out the question that they would take one of the most popular Spider-Man characters, Mary Jane Watson, and make a movie about her with superpowers. And you know what's even scarier? Sony Pictures have actually already considered doing this before. If you guys remember a while back, Tom Holland actually gave an interview where he stated that Sony Pictures wanted to give MJ superpowers in the MCU. Zendaya also disagreed with this, saying that she liked MJ with how she was, because MJ is a good character for who she is. She doesn't need superpowers, and even Zendaya knew this. But right now, with the comics basically being 10 to 15 years or whatever ahead of the movies, it's not out the realm of possibility that we could get a Mary Jane Watson movie in the future. And you know what? I'm not against a Mary Jane Watson movie. That would be really cool, actually. But she doesn't need to have superpowers, you know what I mean? So Sony, please just... you know what, there's no point, because they're gonna do it anyway. I know they are. But that is pretty much it for today's video. I want to give a huge shout out to MCU Direct, because I got quite a lot of the information for this video from that article that they posted on this topic, including the Marvel editor-in-chief thing, and also a reminder that that Tom Holland interview happened as well. So make sure to go check them out. I'll leave a link to that article in the description down below. Just let me know let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm just done. I'm done with this. I can't believe it. Just it's a madness. Anyway, leave a like on this video if you did enjoy. Make sure to subscribe for all types of Spider-Man news. We cover everything from the games and movies and the shows. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.